Should I live in Edmonton or Calgary? Stay tuned, we're going to talk about that in this video. Hi, this is Melody Wilson with the Real Life team at Remaxly, and I am an Edmontonian. So if you're watching this video and you're trying to decide between if you should live in Edmonton or Calgary, you're probably going to guess what my answer is. But I'm going to talk to you a lot about just the different feels and vibes of the two cities, and you make the decision of what area you think. Edmonton and Calgary have this ongoing rivalry from the beginning of time, from the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames to just the people. And I know there's some strong opinions out there of which city is better, but I say that the city that's the best for you and your family is the city that you can get a job in and that you can afford a home and enjoy. And of course, if your friends and family are in that city, that one city is probably going to be better for you than the other. Now, they're only 3 hours apart from each other, so that's a good thing in terms of if you really can't decide between them. How can you possibly decide? I get that question a lot from people that are considering moving to Alberta. So one of the things you want to consider is, I always ask my clients this, where do you work? So even if you're looking for a house in Edmonton, where do you work? Because we're not going to put you in a home that's an hour commute from your workplace. Now you may say that doesn't matter, I already drive 45 minutes right now to work, or that's really not important to me, I don't know if I'm going to stay in my job, but I do think it's really important that wherever you go, you need to look for work. So in regards to work, what kind of work happens in Edmonton and Calgary? I'm going to talk in very general, broad terms. In Edmonton, we have a lot of government jobs because the Alberta Legislative Grounds is located in Edmonton. We are the capital city of Alberta. In Calgary, there tends to be a lot of more head office jobs. So that doesn't mean there's none in Edmonton, because there are some, but I do see more head office jobs, oil and gas in Calgary versus in Edmonton. If you're looking at teaching jobs, they are also kind of quite the same. I know when my sister first started years ago, she did start in Calgary and then she's back here in Edmonton. So there's the Calgary Public School Board, the Edmonton Public School Board, and of course there's the private system and the Catholic system. So you have to take a look as a teacher if you're thinking about where you should live. Again, look at your job opportunities. Other jobs that I see here, we see actually in Edmonton a big technology movement. There's a lot of IT and AI companies in Edmonton, and in Calgary, I'm not super familiar with if they have any there, but I know Edmonton is being known and we have more of that here than in Calgary. Other jobs that you might be considering are service industry jobs or even warehousing jobs. Now in Edmonton, we've recently had Amazon open up their warehouse, and so there's a lot of jobs coming because of that. And in Calgary, there's of course the service jobs as well, and there's also lots of opportunities there. They don't have an Amazon, but I do know that there's other job opportunities. The service industry, of course, is pretty much the same, I would think, between the two cities. And again, it's dependent on what you want to do for jobs. Now, if you're looking for an engineering type job, I would say, I'm not an engineer, but I have friends that are engineers. I've seen job opportunities for both Edmonton and Calgary for engineering jobs. If you're looking for management roles, again, same thing. The healthcare, I do know, again, because we're the cities, Edmonton is the province's capital, there is a lot of opportunities with Alberta Health here in Edmonton. I'm sure they're still in Calgary, because in Calgary and Edmonton both have a really amazing children's hospital, and there's a lot of hospitals with emergency rooms, and I have seen doctors and nurses move to Edmonton personally. In Calgary, I guarantee you there's also that profession is still staying strong. If you're taking a look at legal professions or any other professional jobs, I do see both sides. I would think that Calgary has a little bit more, they're known a little bit more to be more white collar, and Edmonton is known to be a little bit more blue collar. So another thing to think about when you're deciding Edmonton or Calgary is, where are your friends and family? If your friends and family are important to you to be around, then I would really emphasize deciding where you want to be, how close you want to be. If you're in Edmonton or Calgary, we have lots of friends that are in Calgary and we don't tend to see them very often. We see our friends in Edmonton more often, but even in Edmonton, we sometimes don't see them because the city is still large. Now, Edmonton is smaller than Calgary. We definitely still have a city feel, and so you can sometimes not see people weeks, months on end if you don't live on the same side of the city. That being said, even being on the same side of the city, sometimes you don't see each other. So make sure you consider what's important to you in terms of that end of things. The Fraser Institute has a list of schools both from Edmonton and Calgary, and so realistically, one city doesn't necessarily mean it's better than the other. If your kid or you want your kids to go to a certain direction for sports or arts or second language, you have to consider those as different options. And if you're seriously considering both, then maybe research both cities and schools on the same level playing field and see if that's something that makes sense for you to move to one city for school. Now, in terms of the feel of the area, there's a bigger, I think, music, culture vibe in Edmonton than there is in Calgary. There's definitely more of a arts and culture that is known in Edmonton versus Calgary. I'm sure some of you Calgary people who are watching might argue with me on that, but that's just me because again, I'm speaking from my Edmonton perspective. If you're looking for family-friendly activities for your kids in terms of extracurricular, should you go to Edmonton or Calgary? There's soccer, indoor, outdoor soccer, swimming classes, art classes, all those types of things. Guess what? Both Edmonton and Calgary are family friendly. You can choose any city and they're probably going to offer the same types of things. I do know that St. Albert, which is a suburb of Edmonton, is actually rated to be one of the top places to raise your family in all of Canada. So that's something to consider as well, is where in Edmonton, if you were considering Edmonton, would you want to live? And are you comparing apples to apples if you're thinking Calgary and Edmonton, or Calgary and St. Albert, or Calgary or Sherwood Park? So it's really important to think about that. Okay, so another thought that people think about when they're deciding between Edmonton and Calgary is how active are you? Do you want to be active every day, going out for a walk, going out for a run, going into the River Valley or the Bow Valley River or the mountains? Now obviously Calgary is so much closer to the mountains and has that going for it over Edmonton. Edmonton has an amazing River Valley System trail that we love and is lots to discover there too. And it's not that hard for us to drive a couple hours to the mountains. So it all depends on what you're looking for when it comes to an active lifestyle. I do think that maybe Calgary might actually be a little bit more active in terms of that lifestyle versus Edmonton, but jury's probably out, and you should comment down below and let me know what you think. So did that help you? Do you know if you're gonna live in Edmonton or Calgary? Comment down below and let everyone know why you love Edmonton or why you love Calgary and why people should move there. Please don't give me negative comments. We just want to know and help people discover the positives of both sides. Of course, there's always the crime rate to consider, but again, you want to think about the cost of living, where your family and friends are, if you have a job, and if you're gonna feel like your family can really make their own in that city. Realistically, we're in Alberta and we're in Canada. It's a pretty good place to live. So good luck on your search.